Hey, if you are not new, welcome back. And if you are new, welcome. I'm your Lifestylist, your secure woman mentor. And I help women unlearn the lies of toxic love so that she can heal, rebel, and live the life that she deserves. Have you ever caught yourself over explaining your boundaries like you're on trial? Today, I wanted to talk about how to stop over explaining yourself. And the reason I want to talk about this is because I found myself asking, like, why am I over explaining myself? I know it's a no. If I don't want to do it, I don't want to do it. Why am I over explaining myself? We cannot consistently allow ourselves to overgive, over explain, overthink because of how we think somebody might feel about us choosing us. One thing I want you to understand is that you don't owe not one person a PowerPoint presentation to your piece. You don't owe that to them. You owe it to you. So let's dive in. First thing I want to discuss is why. The why. Why do we over explain? One reason is because it's rooted in people pleasing. I don't care how you slice it or dice it, that's what it's rooted in. People pleasing. And when you're used to doing for everyone else, when you're used to choosing everyone else over yourself and trying to make it work for everyone else, including yourself, you tend to get into this space where you become a people pleaser. Because if you're anything like myself, when it comes down, I think a lot. So in my mind, I'm like, you know what? Sometimes I just have to say no. And it's so hard for me to say no that when I do say no, I feel bad. And I don't like that feeling. And that's when I really have to have a come to me moment and ask myself, why do you feel bad? You have other things to do. You cannot do that. There's no way that you can fit that anywhere in your schedule. Or even if you have nothing to do and you really need some me time, you really need time to relax, to chill, to whatever it is. Like, it's your prerogative. You can do what you want to do, right? You got to be Bobby Brown in this thing. You have to do what's best for you. And if that's saying no to someone else, that's just what it is. And another reason that we find ourselves over explaining is our fear of rejection. It's some part of us that fear that someone's going to get mad, someone's going to criticize, someone's always going to have something to say. One thing about a person that over explains, so they don't want to let people down. That's part of that people pleasing. But at the same time, those people don't mind letting you down. If you change it mentally within your mind, hey, you're not letting them down. This is your time. You have control and say so in what you do, how you do it, and who you do it with. And when you can wrap your head around that, you're not letting them down. You're choosing yourself. You're standing up for yourself in that moment. And sometimes it's just you against you, right? Because if someone's asking you something, that means that they knew that the answer could be no. So don't overthink it. And understand that over-explaining is a taught situation. It's a taught thing. You was taught love equals approval, so you over-explain for understanding. Or you overperform for understanding. Because you might have felt like the oddball, the outcast, or whatever the case may be. So there's so many layers to over-explaining, but that's part of that why. Number one is that situations have taught you that love equals approval. So you perform for it, right? And also, you have a people-pleasing issue. We're just going to call a spade a spade. And that's why we're here, because we're working on it. Now, there are costs in over-explaining yourself. overexerting yourself. There's a hidden cost to that. It causes you to feel drained. It causes you anxiety. It causes all these internal battles. I mentioned that earlier. It causes all these internal battles because you're so busy trying to prove your worth when you don't have to prove it. It's there. People can see it. You don't have to overperform and drain yourself in order for people to see your value or your worth. But more importantly, it's not about them seeing your worth or your value. It's about you knowing how valuable you are and understanding that and standing on that. And the big thing that comes with over explaining yourself, that hidden cost, that you teach people to question you instead of just respecting you when you over explain. But honestly, you also teach yourself that you don't respect your own self when you consistently over explain. Because I know there's an internal dialogue that happens within yourself when you feel like no isn't enough and you feel like, oh, well, maybe I need to explain to them why. No, you don't. Even practice when someone says, well, why? Because I just don't want to do it. Like you have to get a little less nice. I don't know how else to explain it. You have to get a little less nice and let people think what they want to think. Because trust me, it's going to build that respect one way or another. As you build that, it starts to help you in your mindset shift. Because that's what it's going to take for you to stick with it and continue to develop it. It's going to take a mindset shift. It's going to help you build that confidence that you need. And confidence isn't loud, it's just clear. And when you're being clear about your no's and about what's happening without over explaining something, you make it clear to that person that what I have going on isn't your concern or isn't your business. And if I say no, that's just what I mean. There's nothing wrong. I'm not mad. I'm not upset. I just can't do it. I just don't want to do it. And what happens is when people who are explainers and nice people, what happens is that when you stop explaining, people don't know how to take it. People don't know how to take that because now they feel like you're being mean instead of just being direct. And it's not that you're being mean, you're just being direct because people will take advantage of a person who feels like they owe somebody else something. Speaking from experience, I learned to just trust my silence. It's been my most powerful thing because I know for me, I either just need to be quiet or I will over explain. But then I think, oh man, maybe me being quiet made them feel some type of way. Like it's so much, it's so many layers in that. That's why I wanted to talk about it because there are so many layers in the over explaining. People are going to think the way that they think, but your confidence in your approach and making it clear gives you the respect that is due to you. In some ways, I've learned to stop over explaining, pause before responding. Another thing that I find that works for me is learning and understanding that giving short truths allows me to stop over explaining. Because over explainers really don't like to lie and they give more detail than is needed. So giving short truths is how you keep yourself from over explaining. If someone's asking you something, the answer is no, but instead of saying no or, coming off as short or being rude, just say, oh no, that won't work for me. You don't have to say anymore. You don't have to say why it won't work for you. It just won't. That's the reason, because it won't. Or if someone's trying to get you to change your mind or ask you why, just say, I've made my decision. That's just what it is for me. That's my decision. What can anyone say outside of that? And if they do continue to push, like, listen, I said what I said. I made my decision. End of story. And the biggest one that I stick with on most occasions, and I mentioned this earlier, is letting your no's be no's without any type of sentence or paragraph attached to it. If there has to be something after that no, just make it clear, no, that won't work for me, or no, I've made my decision already. That way you can add your no with a short truth without overly explaining yourself. So I want you to replay this video when you need the reminder to stop over explaining. Share it with someone who you know that over explains and they're sick of it. This is just a small step into your healing. So I want to leave you with this affirmation before we go. And that is, my peace doesn't require permission and my choices don't need explaining. When you feel that anxiety creeping in or your internal turmoil happening, remind yourself, my peace doesn't require permission and my choices don't require explaining. You have to verbally, out loud, a lot of times tell yourself. That way, you're not having this internal dialogue that's causing you to go back and forth about explaining what you don't need to explain. Healing isn't easy. The things that we want to change and elevate and get rid of within ourselves requires work. And this, although might be small, it's big in the grand scheme of things. Because this is ways in which you self-heal by doing the small work and understanding what it takes to help yourself elevate past who you no longer want to be and help you become who you know that you are. So, I am Kay, your lifestylist, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.